So about a year ago, I saw this image that completely blew me away. It was Lana Del Rey for Skims. It was their Valentine's Day campaign. I could not stop thinking about it, and I brought the idea to my photographer friend, Renee.
Renee, who you may remember from shooting Disco Furby, has a photography studio out in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and she was willing to house this enormous craft. We decided that we wanted to recreate our own version of the Skims heart prop together for photography purposes. Our aim with this project was first and foremost to take inspiration from the Lana candy dish prop, while also taking inspiration from the romantic getaway tourism you can find up here in the Pocono Mountains with their heart-shaped pools and heart-shaped beds, and also taking inspiration from caskets and cake and maybe even conversation hearts. We're gonna make this in pink instead of blue, and I'm just making one piece instead of a whole candy dish plus a lid situation. Here's how I made it. Throughout this process, you'll see a smaller heart piece that I'm tracing out here. I ended up using this to work through challenges before starting on the big one. I haven't talked about this ever because I don't use it a whole ton, but I started working with a projector about this time last year. I find that it's convenient to pull recent photos up in the Instagram story part of Instagram when screen mirroring from my phone. I like how I can pinch and zoom repeatedly to make the projected image fit the physical space, and the image will stay in place unlike the Photos app. Alternatively, sometimes I do screen mirror from the computer for projecting. I spent a good while arranging my extra thick cardboard on the floor to get an idea of what my maximum dimensions would be. Whenever I want to use my projector, I open screen mirroring in my iPhone's control panel, wait a few seconds, and then the device will appear to connect to. It took me an embarrassingly long time to figure this out. Before I could use it, I had to log the projector itself onto Wi-Fi. I'm just making sure that this particular measurement exceeds 55 inches before I trace it out onto my good cardboard. This projector does freeze up on me sometimes when I need to adjust the image on the screen. I'll need to disconnect and reconnect my device to the projector for it to move again for some reason. I'm struggling to put into words why I wanted to do this project. Pretty much, I saw the original, I thought it totally rocked, and I knew it was within my abilities to recreate it. That's really about it. I also thought the construction of it would come together very quickly, and it did. I thought about how I would do this kind of in the back of my head for most of last year, but actually physically putting it together happened within 30 days. I cut out a bunch of hearts onto paper. I finessed the final design with Renee into a vintage candy dish perfection. I took a picture of the heart I cut out of paper and projected that onto craft paper to trace it big. I had this ridiculously thick cardboard I'd been holding on to since I moved last. My movers were about to put this back in their truck, and I was like, Ashley, can I save that box? I'm gonna use that. Can I please have that? They were like, okay, weirdo, fine. Anyway, this is the thickest cardboard I've ever worked with. It's about the thickness of 4 Amazon boxes.
I've adhered the little flaps on the bottom part, and I'm going to keep this bottom part as one. Now I hot glued these into place. I hot glued between the lines. Now I'm going to add tape on top to really secure it. Found this big long piece of cardboard in the bowels of my cardboard collection. I just trimmed it down to 16 inches. Now I just need to roll it and tape it onto the top part of the heart. What these are sashes for like pageant girls or like bachelorette parties. Done some calculations, and I need 10 of these. I'm going to like pleat it really beautifully. I need to seam rip this bottom portion, and I need to straighten all of the kinks out with my hair straightener. I have the hair straightener at, oh, I can turn it down probably on 300 degrees. Okay. So I just turn it inside out, the dull side on the outside, and I straighten both layers at once. Go. And then this down here, if I just kind of straighten it, pulls most of the threads off. Here is how I'm pleating the ribbon here. There's probably a faster, easier way of doing this, but whatever, I just wanted to get started. And I didn't want to use pins, I didn't want to put holes in the fabric. So what I'm doing is I just line up the end of the last pleat with one of these marks on here. And then I take this and I stick it under the next two marks. So down over here. So this gets put right in here. I pinch on this and I twist it. So that kind of makes crease marks in two different spots. And I yank that out of there. And then I'm just pinning it with a binder clip. Leaving an inch in here. Twist it, pinching it, twisting it, pulling this out, and pinning it in place. So I'm just going to zigzag on top of this just to really hold it in place. Perfect. Turns out I'm done. It's enough frilly stuff to go around the whole edge. Staring at this every day. I got a king size mattress pad and also a twin size mattress pad, and it said you have to let them air out for like 48, 72 hours. So it's just been this mess. I don't even know where to begin. I gotta cut it and put this thing together. I got 2 weeks. I gotta bang it out. This is a king size mattress pad. This is the twin size mattress pad. That's gonna be cut down the middle. Each side's gonna be about 15 inches. I'm thinking that's gonna line the inside here. I'm just like walking on my mattress pad, pacing around like, how am I gonna do this? Why do I have to make things that are so big?
I considered skipping out making this whole thing modular. I would have been done like a week sooner if I hadn't needed to stop and start all of the materials at the edges where it comes together. One piece would have been a lot simpler, but I wanted to avoid having to rent out a truck for transport, and I wanted to avoid future logistical issues like getting this thing down and upstairs around corners. Mainly, making it modular makes it more feasible to transport to cool locations in the future for photos.
Here it is. I cut the twin in half. And this is where it separates. What I'm doing for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on end is adding this second layer of cardboard in here. And it just dawned on me, I think I have enough foam for the inside as well. Look at this. I just have to fill in that, and that all fits. Amazing. You'll love to see it. I have been cutting foam up, gluing cardboard all day, and I think I've cracked how I'm gonna make this thing modular. I have these two pieces, right? It splits in the middle. What I need to do is create, sort of like I did with the big Furby, a section, like a panel. A middle panel here. This will have all Velcro underneath. And then everything else is filled in with the same extra thick cardboard so it all lays flat. Here's the Velcro panel but my heart of foam, it turns out I have enough foam for the inside too. So what if the foam is just glued on top, right? This Velcro panel is underneath so that the foam is attached to the heart-shaped center panel, right? But then the foam is flat, it lays on top of everything. Doesn't look like much, but I've created a beautiful, intricate Velcro system to make this thing modular. So basically, I have this panel, and all this Velcro here lines up with the Velcro in there. So basically right now, I am testing it to see if this panel will hold this together when it goes to get picked up. So, all right. I have a bunch of lines drawn in here. Middle. Pushing the Velcro together. All right. What do I got? Oh, it's super secure. Look all right. So I did it on the inside, so that the back, once I add the foam, it'll be perfectly flat and flush on top. It'll be fantastic. Yay! How big it is. It's huge. Fully modular. I did it. So big. Ah. These are the pattern pieces for the big heart. I gotta cut it out of the sheet. So Renee had this fantastic idea to get a sheet set. I think it's weird, but often for me, buying a retail item is often less expensive than buying unfinished materials by the yard. Like I used mattress pads and sheets that are all in this bigger size because it's meant to go on top of a mattress. I also figured that all the hems would make the material easy to work with. It's like I didn't realize I was beginning upon an upholstery project. Well, anyway, look. The foam is measured. I pushed it into the corners, holding it in place with binder clips. So I think I can cut fabric right now. Right, big moment. I'm deciding to, I think I'm gonna put the sheet in dryer after I cut it. I'm trying to cut like a 4-inch seam allowance. I think having the seam at the bottom will be helpful.
These pinking shears create such a cute look, and honestly, I use them on paper crafts all the time, but man, this satin fabric was very tough to cut because my shears were so dull, which could cause fraying. But luckily, clothing garment construction rules don't apply because this is not clothing that'll be worn or washed. I can seal up the raw edges with hot glue to prevent fraying. This is 1-inch eggshell style foam. It was the least expensive stuff I could find. This project is just a prop. It's not furniture, so the foam doesn't need to be really fancy. You really have to push the foam into the glue before it fully dries. I did that everywhere repeatedly, flat side facing out, eggshell side facing in.
I took the pink satin sheets and I put them in the dryer with a wet t-shirt. And it kind of alleviated the main fold lines on here. So anyway, I gotta take the center panel out and adhere the fabric to the back of the inside. Big things are happening.
When dealing with the foam and the fabric on top, honestly, I wish I had staples. I have a stapler, but I only have like 5 or 6 staples left. So instead of waiting 2 days for staples to arrive, I just chose to proceed with the glue that I had on hand already.
waiting for my hot glue gun to warm up. Look, I ran out of the big glue. I had to heat back up the little guy, so I hope it'll work. This is not glued on the back yet, but I have just the foam placed on the back so I can think about how I'm gonna cut up this fabric. I think this is the fitted sheet. I think I'm gonna cut the elastic. I'm gonna cut the elastic, try to keep it intact as much as possible, and just measure how much I need, and just, yeah, I'm gonna cut the fabric for the sides, and then I'm gonna have to divide this upper region somehow, and I can use smaller chunks of fabric. Cool. Anyone was wondering, this is the amount of elastic in a fitted sheet. I just finished gluing all of the lining into the inner foam, and now I'm going to adhere the Velcro panel with all the fabric on the foam for the first time. Wow, that works. It works. It looks great. Hey, wow. Oh my God. There we go. See, I want this to look like a really high-end casket. I'm not kidding. Yeah. About to close up the end. I'm gonna cut it and then fold it so I can kind of create at least a seam edge there. This end here will get tucked into here, into the crawl space, if you will, the crack. It's a fitted sheet, so I've got this weird bit of sewing here I have to work around. So I just kind of pleated it over. Whatever, fingers crossed it looks okay. So this is one of the back panels. I've cut fabric to size. I'll use a binder clip and kind of pin it to place in a few key spots. So like right on the edge. So when I go to turn it over, it's all held in place. So I don't have to deal with sewing needles, like pins. Hello and happy Saturday. Let me show you how I put this trim together here. So basically, I took the pleated edge, I hot glued the tulle to the back of it, and then I had extra of this white banner material, and I just kind of glued it extra to seal the edge in. So now all I have to do is glue this whole thing kind of in between here, and then it's done. I do need to make a bow for the back, but the front is about to be done. I'm gluing the back of this down into here, and then I'm gonna go all the way around and glue the pink layer onto it. I'm just sandwiching it in. I'm just kind of putting this on so the glue dries in the right spot. But yeah, I'm almost done gluing it on. In conclusion, on this project, I really was aiming just to get it finished and completed instead of aiming for perfection. I really would like to add a bit more decorations to it, maybe some lacy stuff on the side, maybe some things that make it look a little bit more like cake. I absolutely still want to make a big bow to put on the back of it as soon as I find the right material. I want it to look like the bow you see on top of a new car, you know what I mean? Anyway, we shot some photos of the heart. Here's the finished project. Cardboard heart that I made earlier on. Right now I just have it draped in a Facebook Marketplace blanket held in place with binder clips like Homer Simpson. I've got some plans for the future for this, so. That concludes my big heart project. Please like and subscribe if you liked this and comment below what you think I should do with it.